Coast area. What that means is, let's say Goodwill or the city of Houston or Pearland, they want to make sure that the people that they're hiring are prepared, ready, and have the skills necessary. Well, they can come to us and we teach them some skills, whether it's interview skills, whether it's what to expect in the first 90 days. And then on the other side of that, on another level, let's say they have individuals in their job that want skills related to getting promoted,
Okay.
becoming a leader, dealing with conflict. And so we talk about those things too. So those topics. And then let's say taking it up a third level, you have individuals in the organization that are talking about, well, there's so much change going on over these last 18, 19, 24 months. And can we look at how we're going to restructure? And can you talk about organizational management?
Got you.
And so, at all those levels, we were able to provide support for the employers of the Houston Galveston area. So that's my hat in terms of the workforce solutions side of the house. I have a team of training facilitators. Our small group is out there teaching both virtually and in person.
Yeah.
And so if I take that hat off and put the other one, I support veterans because I'm a veteran, right? I support veterans through 4Block. 4Block is an organization that takes the transition journey to a place where we're not only teaching, hey, how do I interview better? Or, hey, how can I work on this resume? But more specifically, for 10 weeks, we take different organizations, whether it's Wells Fargo, whether it's Oxy, whether it's all these different organizations in the Austin, Dallas, and Houston area, and we put them in front of them. And we have, let's say, their employee resource groups, their ERGs, and they come out and
What's an ERG?
Employee resource groups. So let's say people that have common goals, common thoughts. Let's say an ERG at let's say Wells Fargo are all veterans. So hey, I have an ERG that's just related to this, or let's say I have an ERG at another organization like Shell, and they're all women. So different employee resource groups. So we can they bring those out and they introduce them to the veterans. And for 10 weeks, we take them through each different step of the job search and job transition process.
Okay.
So, and that's what I do on the veteran side. And so, both hats very similar, very related, but also, different audience.
Yeah.
Different audience.
So you're training staff with the workforce solutions, and then when you work with 4Block, you're training specifically veterans, mostly transitioning
veterans. The last cohort we had back in the spring, we had people that had been out for years, literally years. I've been out of the Navy for many, many years. I'm trying to pursue my master's degree. I'd like to see what I can do because I'm, let's say, 30 something years old and I haven't dealt with the workforce in a long time. That person still goes to 4Block.
Got you.
I'm 22 years old and I was in the Navy for 6 years, and I'm not sure what's going to happen next. Still 4Block.
Gotcha.
26-year Army veteran. I'm a colonel. I've led all kinds of things. I've done all kinds of things. What do you mean I've got to cut down my 5-page resume to 2 pages?
I always wonder about those.
And I look and go, guess what? We're here to help that too.
Yeah.
And so that whole swath of any transitioning veteran, for the most part, right? Because we do have a screening process and all those kind of things. But our focus for 4Block is a national organization. But the part that I work with is typically anybody that's looking to settle into those general Texas areas.
Okay.
Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston. Last semester in the spring, we had people that were working in the embassy, foreign country, but they're planning on moving to Texas, planning on moving to Houston. And so this couple was working with that and going, yeah, we're over here in Brazil or what have you. And like, so are you coming here? I'm like, yeah, we're planning on coming here.
Oh, wow.
So virtually, this virtual world was amazing because we're able to do that. And it's not just physical. But when I went through 4Block, because I went through 4Block myself, it was physical. I physically went to offices. They brought out food. It was nice and catered, all these other things. And I got to put on a little suit and I had to, how do I talk to this person? Am I supposed to bring a card? What's supposed to happen?
What time frame was this? What year?
This was, right before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And then the pandemic hit. And then halfway through my semester, we went virtual.
Oh, wow. So you were doing the whole program.
You were doing that here?
I was doing the program myself. And so, I went through the program. It supported me. I met good mentors, met good friends that I still talk to. And then I gave back and I started volunteering and I started working for them also. And so, that led me to a lot of different places, led me to Impact a Hero.
Yeah.
Because Bobby,
Yeah.
Bobby went through my program. And so it all connects. It all connects. So, Workforce Solutions, 4 Block, 2 different hats.
Gotcha.
Nice. Now we skipped the whole thing when you introduced yourself. So what branch were you in?
It's a great question. I'm a Marine.
Marine.
I'm a
Okay.
Marine.
Yeah. I'm
born and raised in Houston.
Yes, sir.
Happy to be back home in Houston. Grew up in the Southwest side, but I was born in St. Joseph's Hospital. With the big thing on top.
Dude, no way.
So
honest to God, that's where I was born.
We could have been like little neighbors or something. We could have been switched at birth. Who knows? But yeah, I'm from Houston originally. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 21, and 1997.
Oh shoot, 21.
21, and I dabbled a little bit in college, then decided to do different things, and again to answer your question, retired. Transitioned myself out of the Marine Corps about 4 years ago, about the same time you did. Will.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so things are kind of mirrors, right?
Yeah. So you did how many years did you serve in the Marine Corps?
20 years and 2 months. The 2 months count, right?
2 months count.
It's 2 years.
They do every little day. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And one of the main reasons I got out of the Marine Corps was for my family.
Yeah,
I could have stayed in. It was one of those things where my kids are college aged now. Graduated from high school just recently, and I had to decide that I don't want to move my kids around anymore. And if I can be home when when my kids are going through college or going through high school or graduating, I'd like to be there to help them write their college essays.
That's cool.
Talk to them about what they should go to college, or whether they should go to college, or what they should study, or be stressed out because I got to learn how to drive. But if I would have stayed in the Marine Corps, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
clearly, that's 100%. I would have been in California or Hawaii, which again, great places. But guess what? My family's here.
Yeah,
settled here.
That's crazy. Yeah, Houston's a great city. I said when I enlisted myself, I said I just want to leave, and I'm never going back. and then after the service, I was just like, man, I just want to go back. Yeah. I felt like things were simpler here.
And I could say that my wife was originally from California, and she fell in love with Houston. Houston's a unique place, and I see some familiar names there. Seth, how's it going? I see that Seth, if you're still there, reaching out from Chicago. But it's great to be back home. It's great to be in comfortable places. It's great to be able to reconnect with people. And I think I've said that before when we first talked.
Yeah.
Just knowing that this is a place where I can go, hey, look, it's 610 again. Oh, look, Maine doesn't look the same anymore. Why is it called 90? Was it called 90 before? I didn't even know.
I don't remember.
Just all these things are just little things that are different. But it's good to be home, and it's good to be close to my family. My parents are actually, they're still here with us, and they're, and everything's comfortable there. And so to have that support is also great. And my brother and sister, they live in Houston too, so. It's one of those things where it's about family.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. So, man, you retired in January 2018. Man, how did you do with your transition out of the military?
I could say that it's easy, but I would be lying. Really. And I say that not because we all struggle in different ways.
Oh,
We
yeah.
all struggle in different ways, whether it's a veteran or not a veteran or just life. But one thing I always say is that we hit the problems or the issues at different times.
Right.
And so there's people that are like, oh, the transition was easy. I just got out and I jumped in and did a 3-letter, got a 3-letter, organization. And then go ahead and check on that person in a year. And they're struggling at different times. And I could say the same thing. Just because you're coming home doesn't mean that it's going to feel like a homecoming.
Wow.
And I say that not because I'm looking at the camera going, you guys didn't welcome me. That's not it. It's at the end of the day, it's important to know that we all hit the peaks and the valleys of what we struggle with at different times. And so when I transitioned out, what should I do? Should I do something related to the military? Maybe I should do something that's exactly what I did because I learned all these things and I'm going to do the same thing. and that was the pitfall, I think, in the beginning. was I put the uniform a little bit back on, and I
Uh-huh.
walked in front of students and other people, and I was still wearing the thing. And what I realized at some point is it's okay to move forward or just move in a different direction.
Right.
And at first I taught JROTC for a little bit,
Cool.
and then I didn't. Then I didn't.
I
And the
was-
look on y'all's faces answers why. And again, I say that because I know friends of mine that are ROTC instructors now, and it's a great job. There's a lot of things you can do that's very rewarding. However, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me,
I think-
and it was
I think
hard to decide on.
Yeah, you definitely hit it on its head. I think I think that's why. I mean, you asked before the show started, like, what's our mission and what do we see? Part of this is I really like to bring folks on here because I didn't see anybody else doing what we do now.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't have enough of an example of what a successful, quote unquote, successful transition is. And so I was like, I'm going to go to work because that's what everybody else did.
Mhm.
Everybody else was just going straight to work. And so I got a job at a warehouse, which I was completely blessed with. But it wasn't exactly what I
It
wanted.
didn't click.
Yeah, and then I did look into the ROTC stuff a little bit, and it was just like, okay, well, I'm not qualified enough for that. So, what's next? I will find a way to get involved again.
I could get you in if you want. Those doors are still open.
I imagine.
I think he'll need
But-
a haircut.
yeah.
Huh?
Nah, man, I can't cut this.
Yeah,
Gorgeous
But
locks.
so to go back to the transition question, one thing I really understood was, and it's no shame, but it's this: as a veteran, we have resources that other people don't have, and I'm looking right at the camera when I say it. Is some people don't use them. They
Right.
don't use them, and it's not, well, it's a handout, or oh, it's but it's there for us. And a lot of times, I put this when I was promoting or talking about coming on the show, is from impact to hero to combined arms,
Mhm.
to hire our heroes, to hiring heroes, and it goes on and on and
Yeah.
on. But the fact of the matter is, people should use those resources because they're there, and then give back. And so
Right.
for me, I had an organization look at my resume a couple times, and I worked with them. I found Next Stop and made some friends with them, and that was a big eye opener because they asked me to come on and talk on subjects and things like that. And I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Really? And I forgot. Actually, now that you're mentioning it, I remember I sat through their panels.
Really?
I was in
Oh, that's
panels with
right. I
them.
do remember that.
I was in panels with them.
John Zavala.
Yeah, how's it going, John? If you're out there,
Yeah, man. I hope you guys are watching.
but it's important to know that the resources are there, and we can't and we shouldn't have to be afraid to seek help, because help doesn't mean that we're weak. Help doesn't mean that we're doing the wrong things, that we're misstepping.
Mm.
And so I took a lot of those resources, gathered them up, and used as much as I could to feel more comfortable in when my decision was harder, which is, let me leave this job and go to this other one. Let me
Right.
put on a suit, and I don't know anything about business, and walk up to this giant like skyscraper building downtown and just meet people that I've never met before. Because
Right.
why? I saw Combined Arms had a post about 4 Block, and I said, oh, okay. Let me go see what this is. We sign up. They sent me an email back right away. Okay, when is it? Okay, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
And I met people, and I talked to them, and I had to figure out how to introduce myself. And I was a recruiter in the Marine Corps for a while, and so I'm not afraid to, like, okay, let me talk.
Mhm.
But it's different when you're not wearing the uniform, you're wearing a suit,
Right.
and you're trying to talk about what you did, and why is it important, or is it as important as what you did or what you did, and how to balance that out. And so that's where that transition was a little bit rocky.
Yeah.
What's my worth? Right? And it's like, oh, you're worth a lot. You've done so much. Thank you so much for your service.
Yeah.
But as much as I shake that hand, I'm also thinking, what's my worth?
Yeah, no, it's true. You can't really compare what you were getting paid in the military to what you're getting paid when you get out. And I had a family friend that I looked over with my resume and was like, "This is the numbers you should be shooting for." And I asked for it and I ended up getting it. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I am worth this. And just recently too, I ended up talking to her again. She's like, "You're worth this much more now."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh man, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm selling myself short."
And I could say that part of working with 4 Block is repeating to other people that, yes, you are worth more than you're giving yourself credit for. Because there's plenty of, like, dozens that I've worked with where it's like, well, I don't know. I don't know. Yes, say something.
Right.
And then you have to balance that, right? Like I said, the 26-year-old, Army colonel that doesn't want to let go of the 5 pages has to know that just because I want you to make it 2 pages doesn't mean those 3 pages don't matter. They do. In your heart, you did all those things. It's still important. However, to get this job, give me 2 pages. Like, it's just, and figure out that's how you navigate this, is that no one's going to take away what you did in the military. But at the same time, you don't have to tell everybody everything you did in the military.
Yeah.
It's not a secret, but it doesn't mean it has to be like, okay, well, I did all of this stuff. I get it, but I was just wondering, what brings you in today? And it's like, you have to balance that out.
I feel like there's 2 sides, and just kind of goes back into the introverts versus extroverts.
Mhm.
Like maybe if someone a little more extroverted if you're in the military, you're going to tell you're proud of all those accomplishments, and you should be, but you're going to lead with all of that. You don't really need to lead with all that, and where the introvert, you can't get them to say enough about what they did in the military.
And
And it's like, okay, well, I need some more of
And
that.
it's surprising for a lot of people that in the military, there are a lot of introverts, because
Yeah.
in the real world, there's a lot of introverts. And
Mhm.
we were in that class together a couple weeks ago, and people often talked about introverts as like, oh, well, they don't like to go outside. We're not hermits. I'm saying that because I'm an introvert, and I'm sitting here on this podcast looking at my cousin making comments and what have you. And what I say is that introverts just get energy from different places, right? We
Right.
talked about that before.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we have to live in a cave and like someone has to slide food underneath a metal door because we're scared to see people.
I mean, it might be an option for our old.
Sounds good.
I like the cave. The cave's great.
No, I couldn't see you as that. You seem so, I guess, because you speak very well.
I can tell you that it's a mask.
It's a practice.
Okay.
It's a mask. And again, it's a mask. What I mean by that, sometimes you take your mask off and you put a different one on.
Right.
Right. And then I did that thing earlier where I kind of lead forward. But the thing is, sometimes that mask is a little heavier. And when the cameras are off and the kids are sleeping, you take the mask off and
Yeah.
and that's part of being an introvert too, because you figure out how to navigate as a veteran in the transition. You figure out how to navigate. And so, like you said, I wouldn't think. And I could tell you, for the people that know me before I was in the military, they would look at me now and go, I don't see why you'd be in the military. You don't look like a Marine, right? Oh, look at this hair. Where's my high and tight?
Yeah.
Where's the, why isn't the shirt buttoned all the way up?
Yeah, he's definitely easy.
But
For those of you on, listening on the podcast, he's got, I would say hair just below the ears, little shaggy,
little shaggy.
a nice floral shirt on.
What I like to say is that, I don't have to get a haircut every 7 days, and that's okay.
Man, I still do.
Okay.
I bet
and
you-
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and use this analogy of, like, if you look at TV or you look at movies, people don't have high and tights everywhere. So what does that guy's hair look like? Can I just do that?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Or do I have to feel guilty if
Can I
my
look like this
hair is, a little bit longer? And I see, first time I met Will, I was like, were you in the military? Because it's that opposite, right? Sometimes we have and I'm sure there's friends out there that have the beard.
Oh yeah,
Because it's
fantastic.
and I remember, and I could say his name, but I'm not gonna. But it's like, I remember him saying, "Well, I do it because no one's gonna tell me not to." So I grow the beard because for years everybody's,
Said
you got to
you
shave, you got to
should
shave.
Yeah.
Well, I did this not because people tell me I had to shave my head and high tight. I do it because I put a razor to my head in the shower many, many years, and I can still grow hair.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? I'm doing this, and I think it looks okay. I think it looks okay.
You're rocking it, man. I mean, it's no mustache,
Oh,
but
man.
you're rocking it.
Well, I'll tell you that I don't think I could do a mustache. It'd probably be just this right here, and then maybe like a patch over
Looking
here.
like
or
a
something.
catfish.
Yeah, exactly.
When I first met William, I said, "Oh, it's mustache."
Yeah. I
a
always
mustache
enjoy
on
being
my
whenever he talks to his friends or families, he's always like, yeah, the mustache.
Mustache guy.
Yeah.
Mustache. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Not the ponytail
Dang,
guy.
bro, you really referred to me like that.
It is on your business card.
I know, it's so cool. I
But
love
I
it.
could say your name a million times and nobody will remember.
Right.
But if I say
Mustache.
mustache, they're like, oh yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely okay with that.
Yeah. That's golly. Yeah. But we're having it was great to meet you at the beginning. And that's how I pointed him out. And I still do that. He met my family the other day. It sounds like we were dating.
This is a relationship.
Did your parents say it's okay?
No.
Do they approve of me or not?
I was like, this is William. And then my little sister was like, oh, mustache. I was like,
Yeah.
Just in case, because I know you did the whole thing with my hair, just in case you're not seeing everything, as you're listening audio-wise, William has a wonderful, wonderful barber's handlebar
Yeah, that's
mustache.
very good.
Almost in a sinister kind of like person tied to the rails kind of way.
You see,
It's-
you'll see him, man. He's always there. He goes right there.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
was
he's
gonna
doing.
say
Yeah,
We're gonna put up a mustache counter next time.
Yeah,
See how many
that'll
times I-
definitely be up. Man, so from let's talk. I want to talk a little bit more about your military career, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, man, let's talk about when you began. What made you join the Marine Corps?
Oh, look at that one. See,
That's a good
that's
one.
always the one, right? And
Mhm.
and I say that because as a recruiter, I'm going forward, but I'm gonna go back. I promise.
Mhm.
People always ask that, right? Why'd you join the Marine
Right,
Corps?
right.
And I could tell you from if I go back to this recording, I didn't tell my parents.
You didn't?
I did
Wow.
not tell my parents until after I already did it. 100%.
Yeah.
And then if there's Marines out there, but Army, same thing. Other military, same thing. They have that talk where it's like, what are you looking for in the military?
Right.
What's going to interest you? Is it going to be travel and adventure? Is it going to be, this certain skill? And as a 21-year-old guy, I just walked in and I was like, I just want to join the Marine Corps. Like, well, here, tell me which ones you're interested in. And I was like, they're all good, great. Can I just join the Marine Corps? And it totally like broke his rhythm of his recruiter. He's like, if he says this, then I say this. If he says this, then I say this. He was like,
I skipped ahead.
yeah.
I don't know what to do
And for
next.
me, I originally signed up to be like a MP.
Oh wow,
It didn't go that way.
didn't
Okay.
It didn't go that way.
didn't see that coming.
Right. So layers, right? Who knows what's Craig doing right here, right? But I went in under signals intelligence.
Oh,
And thinking of signals intelligence, especially looking around here with the mics and everything else, it's like, oh, then you can break all this down. The Marine Corps taught me how to speak and how to write and how to read Korean.
oh,
I am not Korean for those of you watching the video, but legitimately, and I didn't know Korean at all. So this is 2022, and everyone's like BTS or like K-pop and all these other things.
dude, they're
In
popping.
1997, nobody was paying attention to learning Korean, except people trying to deal with Korean things.
Oh,
Right. And so,
so
the
do you
Marine
still
Corps-
speak
the Marine Corps-
Korean?
I mean, I could pretend, but no.
No?
I mean, just
Okay.
like language is perishable.
Yeah,
Language is perishable. But if I was to walk into a Korean restaurant, I could point out some dishes and know just like that.
that's how I am with
You know,
Spanish.
but at the end of the day, you immerse yourself in the language, you immerse yourself in the culture, and it sits with you a little bit longer. The Marine Corps taught me Tagalog, which is Filipino, and that was a complete re-enlistment choice. Why?
Wow.
Because teach me my culture.
Okay.
Cool.
Teach
Yeah,
me my
yeah.
culture so that I can talk to my parents, so that I can talk to my family. 100% selfish,
Yeah.
but my ear was tuned already
Yeah.
because I learned the language
Oh,
already.
okay.
My ear was tuned already because if they told me, "Hey, come over here and take out the trash or I'll hit you," then I understood that already because I've already heard that. I'm like, "Oh, why are you late?" I know that phrase already. Because in the house, growing up as a as ethnic person, right? If you're not looking at the cameras because you're listening, my parents are both Filipino. I'm a Filipino, and growing up in a family that spoke different languages, they didn't specifically teach me. And there's a lot of people that grow up in the States and they're
Yep.
not taught to learn and understand the language
Yeah.
for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I don't want my kid to have an accent, or maybe it's he's not or she's not interested. But years later, I'm interested. And I
Right,
said,
right,
"Hey,
right.
Marine Corps, I want to learn that language," and they taught it to me.
That's
Wow.
They taught it to
That's
me.
good.
So I learned 2 languages in the Marine Corps. Like you said, what was the story? Signals intelligence. So I spent some time doing things related to things that mean, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't talk about it. No, I can say this because after years of having to navigate it, I learned information. I worked on with information that helped advise people make good, strong, solid decisions.
Oh, right.
That's the most important way you look at it.
Mhm.
Because I remember as a young Marine, in California, talking to people, and some people that didn't know how to talk about what we do was like, I'm a spy. I'm like, we're not spies. Just settle down, right?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, to this day, my parents didn't really know what I did.
Mhm.
A lot of my family members or people here in Houston, they're like, oh, I don't know, because we didn't talk about it.
Right.
We didn't talk about it because of the job field, right? But also because as a Marine, I was the kind of person that wasn't like, look at all the things I did. It just wasn't me. And so being a Marine was enough that it wasn't like, oh, by the way, I was here. I spent 2 years in Korea, in country, with my family. I had two
Oh shit.
recently born kids that were in Korea. They were like barely in strollers.
Wow.
And we lived in Korea, like legitimately. And my wife didn't know Korean. She's not Korean.
Yeah.
She's from California. If she's watching. But yeah, we lived in Korea for a couple of years. I spent time in California. I spent time in Texas, literally in Texas, West Texas, San Angelo. If you're out there, I don't know. But and I spent time in North Carolina. I was a recruiter for many years in North Carolina. Being from Houston, a big city, I can drive through a town in North Carolina, and that's where I work. Right?
Yeah.
5 minutes in and 5 minutes out. I was like, you are now entering Rockingham. You are now leaving Rockingham. And I was like, and I look at my orders, and my orders say Rockingham. I'm like, I'm going to be working and living here. I remember sitting in an apartment and by myself. My wife and family were somewhere else, and a waterfall of black water was coming down in my apartment because the apartment was on fire.
What?
And I was living in just ghetto country North Carolina. And if you've been to North Carolina, you love North Carolina, bless you. I get it. I like the fact that North Carolina exists, but I'm not going to live in Rockingham again, ever. No one knocked on my door and said, hey, by the way, there's someone in here. The apartment above you is on fire. There was just a waterfall of black water. I remember that was one of the memories of like, why am I here? What am I doing?
What the hell
am I doing? And I was a recruiter for a couple of years. I lived in Hawaii for a total of 6 years. My daughter was born in Hawaii. My son was born in California.
Yeah.
So, people say, well, where have you been? What have you done? I've been here, there, and everywhere. But, at the end of the day, I learned a lot, and I made a lot of friends, and I appreciate the opportunities to be with and around people that have done great things. And I say that very humbly, in that, I know people that have been through a lot worse than me. Oh, so you retired, so that means you did this and this. I'm like, maybe. But at the end of the day, I just appreciate the fact that the Marine Corps has shared a lot with me, ups and downs.
So do you have any stickers
On my car?
Yeah.
No, but there's
you're not a Marine.
Exactly.
I don't believe you, man.
It's on my license plate.
You see,
on my license plate.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I'm not taking off my shirt or anything, but I have no Marine tattoos either.
Yes. I thought, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I thought that was in y'all's contract as Marines.
Yeah.
The tattoo?
No, y'all had to tell everybody y'all were Marines. And
oh, once it's out, guess what? I've been talking Marine for the last 10 minutes now? I haven't stopped. But that's it's true, right? But you have to learn to navigate some of those stories so that at the end of the day, everything doesn't come out as when I was in the Marine Corps. When I was in the Marine Corps.
We've talked to those individuals before.
And they exist and they're good. There's nothing wrong with that. But but that happens in the Army too. When I was in airborne, when I was in jump school, when I was in air assault, when I was in, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's still you. It's still us. No one takes it away. Remember 5 pages, right? Those 3 pages still count. But you got to transition to other things. It's still there. But yeah, one of the last things I did in the Marine Corps was I was an instructor in Goodfellow Air Force Base, and one of the things that happened over there is people that were just coming into the Marine Corps doing the job that I did when I was younger, and I got to teach it.
Oh, cool!
Wow,
that's where education kind of came back to me, and that's what kind of woke me up to it was the fact that I could teach people, the things that I do and the things that I did, and then also I'm exposed to the new Marines. And help shape and help understand and help kind of shake my head and go, why'd they do that? Or, okay, guess what? They're in trouble because they're only 19.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Oh no, they're stupid. I'm like, are they? Because we did the same thing. Giving perspective was something I tried to do a lot of. And so that kind of comes back to where I am now is where giving people perspective where, as a recruiter, people would say, oh, well, I think he's a good kid. I was like, well, how many evil kids do you find? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that there aren't evil people, but I'm saying at the end of the day, guess what? We all have different layers and different masks, right? Like you said, I didn't think you were this or I didn't think you were that. And,
right.
There's different parts that we feel comfortable sharing.
Totally.
So
I dig it.
I don't know if I hit the Marine Corps story as
No, you
as
did.
motivating enough. I don't know.
That's enough Marine Corps
know,
talk.
Yeah,
for the
no.
day.
So you,
I mean,
so you've
I
done.
touch it, but I don't touch it.
Yeah.
I,
He danced around it the whole time.
I'm an intel guy.
Okay, so I got a question for you. This is a question that we ask a lot of our military veterans that come on the show. September 9th, September 11th, 2001. Where were you?
It was 3:00 in the morning in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I come in because I always come in early, not because I'm just I want to come in early, but I was the guy that came in early. That was part of my job, to get things set up, to make sure that the things that were going on in the office related to the intel field of where I was working. I was the shift that came in a little bit earlier, and the parking lot was empty. 3:00 in the morning. If I was to sync that up with East Coast time, was when the towers hit.
Wow.
Um, I saw it, as in like I saw it like on the radio, and I was like, "What?" So it was if you know Hawaii and you know where I'm talking about, it's a 1/4 mile walk from the parking lot to where we actually work. And so I'm like, "What's going on?" So I get inside, and hardly anybody's at work at this time.
Right.
Mhm.
But you go to the watch floor, the place where things happen, where everybody's seeing. When I say watch floor, I translate for everybody, right? The watch floor is where that's where all the 24-hour operations are
Gotcha.
available as far as what's going on, and everybody's buzzing and just what's going, like, just things are happening and all kinds of stuff. TVs are blaring, and usually they're quieter at 3 in the morning. And when the towers hit, the first one and the second one, one thing I could say about Hawaii before I get into being worried about my family, because I definitely was there's like 6 or 7 bases in Hawaii if you've been there, right? And when the towers hit, nobody could go in or out of the bases.
Right.
And so with 7 or 8 bases, 6, 7, 8 bases that are in Hawaii, all the traffic froze.
Mm.
And so from the H1, H2, H3, that's the name of the highways, nobody could go anywhere. So you had families that were stuck on the freeway for hours.
Right.
Hours.
I remember when I was at Stewart, I had my neighbor. He was an instructor there in Hawaii,
Mhm.
and that's what he said. They were stuck there for
And,
the
and
entire,
there's
entire
nothing
day,
that there's
8,
nothing
9,
that could
10 hours.
nothing that could be done.
No.
Except worry, because you're listening to the radio, what's going on. So yeah, I joined pre 9/11, and when that happened, I called my wife. She didn't answer the phone right away, and I was like, "No, you need to answer the phone." She
Mhm.
answered the phone. I was like, "No, turn the radio on, turn the TV on." And we're a family that just doesn't have cable.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's
Been
like,
always that way.
and but and I was like, no, really, you need to turn the radio on. This is what's going on. And again, nobody was aware of what was happening because it was 3 in the morning, and I was
Right.
calling family. I was reaching out to people. In Hawaii time, it was 3 in the morning, but everybody else, it was, whatever time it was when it happened.
Yeah.
8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. And I could say to connect that even further, my wife is a veteran. My wife is a veteran. She was in the National Guard. We met in A school, if you want to call it A school. For those of you that don't know, it's like the initial school when you first get in the military. It's the one that teaches you some of your job skills, right?
Right.
But me and my wife met in the military. We're still married now, right? Long time. But the reason why I bring it up, but the reason why I bring it up is she was in the National Guard, and so you join the National Guard because
Right.
you're in a sense in the reserve. Well, she was active duty after that.
Oh wow.
So 9/11, all of a sudden she's working active duty. So we're two adults without kids, married,
Golly.
both working, and things are kind of in a big, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Mhm.
Intel field. So it's like, oh, this is happening. What
Oh,
are we going to
wow.
do? What are we going to prepare to do? And then my wife, who's National Guard in Hawaii, we got to mobilize this, and we got to do this, and skills here. And now got groups going to Iraq. And she was going to go to Iraq. She was. And then my son was born.
Oh wow.
When my son was born. And so she, decided to get out of the military shortly after that. But, to speak to the 9/11 story, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that in my time at West Texas and San Angelo at Goodfellow, one of the things that I think I almost like started choking up when I was talking about it earlier is I got a friend of mine, a really close friend of mine
Mm.
named Rosie Velez. He's a Marine first responder. He's fighting to make sure that his health is where it needs to be in San Antonio right now, and on the terminal side of things. And I think about 9/11 survivors and first responders, and just like us as veterans, people have a certain stereotype.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a good point.
people don't always realize that there's so many people that have done a lot that people don't see, right? The mask.
You know,
Look underneath that mask, and Rosie Velez is out there in San Antonio right now in a hospital bed, you know, wishing that he could connect with his family right now because, you know, things are challenging.
Mhm.
So 9/11 has been one of those things that you brought it up that, you know, you see those people that join the military post 9/11, and it's like they've seen it. They saw the
Yeah.
towers get hit. They see that, oh, what's it going to be like when this happens, or I'm going to do this. Well, I joined before all that, and then it changed.
It changes everything.
It changes everything. You know, so you
Yeah.
know
And you were saying earlier, but I don't know if everybody was able to make the connection that Rosie was
Mosey was
firefighter.
a Marine, and he was a first responder. So he was a first responder that works. He worked with the fire department, and he was a medic and an individual that was there at 9/11.
Okay,
He was
so
there.
he
at
was
9/11.
there.
He was there. At
Boots on the
9/11.
ground.
Yes, boots on the ground. 9/11.
Wow. Hey,
And,
keep fighting out there if you're out
yeah.
there listening, man. We're praying
Yeah.
for you.
And so I think of those things, and when you talk about 9/11, and I think about, you know, hey, when the national anthem plays, you know, it feels different.
It
It
does.
feels different.
Got my
And
goosebumps
so,
coming up.
Yeah.
and that's not exaggerating,
That's
right?
not exaggerating.
It's not exaggerating because it's real. And so a lot of people say, "Oh, well, why'd you join the military?" Right?
Yeah.
I hadn't gotten to that, did I? Not really.
No. 20 minutes later.
No, you're good. Keep talking. Yeah.
But you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I joined to serve. Or I joined to this." I truly believe, for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but that patriotism doesn't settle in until after you're in.
Mhm.
It doesn't settle in until after you're in. You know, you're standing at for the Marine Corps, the yellow footprints, and you're standing tall, and you got grown men bawling, grown women bawling because they put a little black piece of metal in their hand that represents the Marine Corps,
Mm.
and their hands are shaking, and even the guy that's in charge and trained them is crying. The drill instructor that was ready to yell and jump and all these kind of things, when taps are played, right? When taps are played, chills.
Yeah.
Chills, whether it's
Every time.
recorded taps or some guy actually playing it.
Right.
Oh man, when
It's
someone
chills.
plays it, whew.
So I say that, you know, from 9/11 to now, from boot camp to now, the patriotism grows.
Yeah, it
It
does.
grows. It grows. I was in Sugarland during one of the Veterans Memorial things, and we're just sitting there just watching, and all of a sudden they play taps, and me and my wife, and again, just goosebumps, just goosebumps. You know, for me, and going back to the question,
No, you're good.
I don't forget. I
No,
promise you.
no,
But,
you're good.
but people ask all the time, you know, why did you join the Marine Corps? And to me, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons, and I can't, and I refuse to just put it on one.
Right.
You know, I wanted to do more.
It's true.
Yes. You know, I'm a child of immigrants. It's just true. It is. You know, I'm not just saying it to say it. You know, and they work hard to put me through school. And to me, I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet. And that doesn't mean that I don't want to accept the support that I got from my family. Of course I do. But, you know, joining the Marine Corps was standing on my own 2 feet and building that house that I wanted to build as far as my life. You know, I figured if I'm going to join the Marine Corps, that's the one I wanted to join because to me, in my mind, it was the one that was going to challenge me the most. And that doesn't mean that the Army doesn't challenge you or the Air Force doesn't challenge you or the Navy
Right.
doesn't challenge you. But to me, it was like, I'm ready to go.
I don't think the Navy challenges you.
I don't think the
I said
Air
what I
Force
said. What I
does.
said.
Stand by. This is recording, right? Is this thing on? Is this thing
Stand
on?
by.
But I wanted to do more. And that sounds so simple.
Oh,
but
man.
but you know, when it comes down to it, I walk into the recruiting office. They didn't call me. I walked in.
Mm.
You know, and I remember as a recruiter making those cold calls. Hey, what's going on? What are you thinking about for your future? You know, but they didn't call me. I remember specifically, you know, Missouri City, Southwest Side area, the billboard. I remember where the billboard was.
Mhm.
I looked to the right, and yes, billboard, literally, not social media. It wasn't a post. It was join the Marine Corps. Call this number. And I called that number. They scheduled an appointment in the office, and I walked in the office.
Wow.
I walked in the office, and I wanted to, and I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell most of my friends, and then I left, and it wasn't easy.
No,
It
of
wasn't
course
easy.
not.
Yeah.
I had
No,
a comfortable family. I had comfortable, supportive friends. I was in college, 21, right? And I wanted to.
I think you bring up a great point. I think it's the challenge. I don't know if there's a way or someone that focuses on that enough. um, that sometimes we just need a challenge in our lives, and by joining the military service is one way to do that. You know, and we need that continuously. What's the next
It's a
challenge?
challenge
Are
walking
you
in here, brothers. I mean,
what's going to get you uncomfortable to shake
exactly.
you
It's
up a
like,
little bit?
like,
You know,
what am I going to say? Is this story going to be interesting enough? You know, but you know, to answer your question right back again, why did I join the Marine Corps? I just wanted to do more, and I wanted to be able to know that, you know, this is something that I did on my own, and I wanted to get out of what I was doing at the time. And that doesn't mean that the situation was bad. It wasn't dire. It wasn't like, you know, I wasn't out. You know, people say, like I remember, you know, if you're getting in trouble, you just join the military.
yeah, it's not like that.
It's not like that.
Mm-mm.
It really isn't.
Nope.
You know, I'm not going to get on my recruiting spiel, but I've said it before. You know, you know, people think of the military as a backup plan.
No.
But you know, if you think that it's a backup plan, guess what? If you have a background, it's harder to get in the military. If you've got a bad hip, it's harder to get in the military. If you got drug issues, it's harder to get in the military.
Yeah.
If you're a single parent, now I'm just discouraging everybody. It's like, oh, I can't do it. but you know what I mean? It's one of those things where what if it was the primary?
Yeah.
What if it was the primary? Because college can be the backup. College doesn't care about those things.
I
Yeah.
think that's a very interesting concept too. Like if folks put college before military, but I think it's because on the other end or on the other side of college or on the other side of the military, that there's definitely the stigma around being a veteran and dealing with PTSD, and that
Mhm.
we can kind of be screw ups. But so are college kids.
So are college kids.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
and you think that going into debt for a degree that may get you a high paying job, it's just
Yeah.
not like that anymore.
or you can't go to college. I went to college when I was in the military.
Mm.
Yeah.
I left the military with a degree and 3 degrees. Actually, I got a bachelor's and I have 2 associates in the military. Oh,
What a
the
nerd.
military! They don't have degrees, you know. But
Yeah,
it's
no.
the same idea, though.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. It's like you don't always see what the benefits that are there.
Yeah. I want to since we are talking about transition, I want to talk about 4-block a little bit.
Sure.
Yes.
Because I've looked into it. I'm sure you have. You got any questions on top
Go
of your head?
ahead. Go ahead. Keep
No, I
going.
just wanted to reiterate that there's so many organizations out there that want to help you. And as Raul pulls it up on the screen, that 4block.org is a fantastic organization. I've heard about it before. I haven't been through it myself. Maybe it's something we can kind of dabble in as we continue further.
Would you like to be a coach?
I
I mean,
Well,
no
hey,
hard commitment
Hey,
yet.
how about this? Who the fuck am I?
Yeah, exactly. Right. What am I going to offer?
What do I
What's
got?
that 26-year Army guy going to want to hear from me? And my crazy mustache. And,
Yeah, look at this guy with his long hair. You don't know anything.
Yeah, what's going on? What do I know?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you if William puts it on the calendar, man, I'll be there.
Yeah. So
But-
tell me
but-
a little bit
go
more
for
about
it.
what can we expect from 4-block?
So here's the thing, and I say this to go back to like the meaning of it, because it's like 4-block. How do I remember this?
Right.
You know, military doctrine. You know, thinking of General Krulak, Marine, Marine General, Marine Commandant, right? Talked about the 3-block war, 3 phases of war, right? The 4-block in the name is the transition. It's the transition.
Mhm.
So that transition from the military to the civilian world is that war that we don't often talk about. We feel weird to say, "Oh, we'll just send you to an interview class. There you go. We're good now,
Or
right?
You
We're
can
good
take
now,
this
right?"
tap class.
Yeah, take here's 17 people that you want to talk about all these different things, and you're just watching them going,
Yeah, we brought it up before on the podcast too.
You know,
that
and-
that there's not a good enough job. Nothing really can prepare you enough.
And that's why
For
for me, the biggest thing I could say about 4-block and the why of it all is that it's not just a one-time thing. It's not just a one-time thing. It's so much about networking. It's so much about understanding where you are in the timeline, because it isn't just one thing. It's
Right.
10 weeks. 10 weeks of working with a group of people that are possibly going through the same thing you're going through.
Mm.
And then meeting people that have gone through the same thing you've gone through. So they were in that timeline maybe 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Maybe the person that's in front of you right now from Ernst & Young is an intern. And how'd you get that internship? Oh, well, yeah, let me talk to you. Right now? Yes, right now. And so for 4-block, it's an opportunity for those transitioning veterans to not just get a one-time video to watch or hit a YouTube thing or watch a LinkedIn learning thing, but you get connection. And I think connection is one of the most important things that us as veterans really need, even if we don't often talk
I
about
know.
it.
Yeah, that's true.
You
You
know,
know, I mean, I was given a class last week, and we said the same thing. We're wired for connection.
hmm
Humans are wired for connection. And unfortunately, when you leave the military, you kind of leave all those connections behind, and you're trying to reconnect
reconnect.
with old friends who aren't on the same path that you are. All your family doesn't remember you. All your family is not aware of who you are now.
Mhm.
They remember 18,
Before
19,
Yeah.
21-year-old you, and it's like I'm an adult now. I've been through a
I've
few
done through
things,
different things,
I'm this is who I am now, and it was hard for me too. Just I was in my mid 30s getting out. Just like I still feel like such a kid now,
right.
but it's like, man, I can make this decision, and I'm going to stand behind it.
And so that's where four block really to me makes the biggest difference because it puts you in a room both virtually and in person because we do meetups too, but puts you in a room full of people that are going through the same thing you're going through multiple
Right.
times. And when it's all said and done after the semester is done, because we do it again 10 weeks, we're still keeping in touch.
Yeah.
We're still following each other on LinkedIn. We're still calling each other and going, hey, I got this job opportunity at the job that I have. Let's hook you up.
Yep.
And so,
It's pretty cool.
Is it networking? Yes. Is it talking about gathering resources for the job search? Yes. Is it about how to understand the market in your industry? Yes. Is it about what do you do in the first 90 days of the job? Also, yes. Is it do I get interview practice? Yes. We bring people on to help practice with your interview. Do we have people that can look through your resume? Also, yes. Not just me, but we have people we have coaches
Right.
that come on and because I'm a career readiness instructor. My role at Four Block is a career readiness instructor. So my role is to facilitate like this, right? Where I make sure that the guests come on, the guests are from different companies, different organizations, and we go through a curriculum, but we don't teach them the curriculum in the 2 hours we have on video.
Okay.
The first hour is about let's talk a little bit about the topic, but the second hour mostly is going into breakout rooms, and you can ask questions directly with the CFO, the COO, the hiring manager,
Company. Wow.
the company owner, the person that just got hired 3 days ago. All those people that were, I'm a veteran, my wife's a veteran, my husband's a veteran, and they're in that same room with you. And so you don't have to feel like and I say this now, it's not a hiring fair. And that's the weirdest part because it takes about the second or third week for them to go, but I don't really want to work at New York Life. It's okay. We're not trying to make you be an insurance salesman. If you want to be, that's great. But guess what? This person from New York Life wants to talk to you about, how to find a mentor, coach, and sponsor. What's a mentor, coach, and sponsor? You didn't read the stuff you're supposed to read before you came here.
Right.
We're not here to teach it to you right now in this first hour.
Right.
We're here to let you interact with that company and then start talking about the value of having a coach, mentor, and sponsor. So each week has a different goal.
Because in the military, you're almost given that, right? Especially as a private, you got a team leader and then you have your squad leader, your platoon, you have your rank structures, you have your peers. There's somebody ahead of you that knows what they're going through. And the hardest part is finding somebody when you get out and what that is. And so I want you guys, if you can, to earmark this as 4block.org. That's the general website. That's the national website. They are a national organization. But because we are in Texas and where Craig is a
career readiness
instructor, you can go to 4block.org/location/virtual-Texas-cohort. And it'll take you to something more local because this is what we're talking about today.
And it's a good focus because of the fact that it doesn't, yes, it's Austin, it's DFW, it's Houston. But the reason why those three are together is because San Antonio is, what do they call it? Mill City.
Yeah.
Mill City. They have all the resources in San Antonio. So if you're in San Antonio, I'm not leaving you out. It's the fact is that San Antonio has its own cohort by itself. Virtual Texas, for where I'm responsible for, is DFW, Austin, and Houston. But any outlying areas also gets taken care of as well. But it really is rewarding. And a lot of times, and I could say that the job that I work now at Workforce Solutions happened when I was in 4Block.
Really?
As a person in the cohort.
Yeah.
Getting advice from one of my mentors about, hey, what should I do? Hey, just reach out to the person. Just ask about, if you could set up an interview. and then just asking advice from somebody that won't judge, because why not? Why not ask?
Yeah.
And you have advisors and people that can lead you along. And the other thing I would say about 4Block is, whether it's Impact a Hero, whether it's any of the other organizations, the Houston Veteran Chamber of Commerce, there's no competition. That's the thing that some people think. Well, I don't want to do 4Block because I'm already doing Hiring Our Heroes, Skill Bridge. Do them both.
Yeah.
Do them both. How much does that cost, by the way? It's free. So why don't you do them both? I had an individual 2 semesters ago, and he was in a Google Skill Bridge for, I think, Hiring Our Heroes. And so he'd come in and be like, oh, I didn't put the suit on and the tie. I know you guys are dressed up because I just came from my Google cohort. And like, again, please keep doing that, because we want to use all the resources.
Yeah.
It's not a competition.
Right.
It's one of those things where we want everyone to use all the resources. Take it from our group and then go to Candorful and get a mentor with them, or go to, I could sit there and just rattle off, just local Texas ones.
Was it Veterati?
Veterati's another one. Veterati's another one. It's got the little wing looking symbol. Candorful's another one. Like I said, Next Up, Impact a Hero.
Score. If you guys are interested in business, Score is a great one. Score.org.
But I say those because those all helped get me here, and I'm still moving. And I'm still moving. And I'm still moving forward.
Not done yet.
Not done yet. Not at all. Like we're a work in progress.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're a work in progress.
Continued progress and work.
And I appreciate even the opportunity to share a little bit of that story. So yes, I joined the Marine Corps.
Nah, man, it's been an honor to have you here and come back.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to come back.
Hopefully, I have things to say. Hopefully,
you've got plenty to say.
Staring blankly at me, going, "What's going on?"
No, man, it's been good. But before we roll out, I gotta ask. Got any book recommendations?
It's a book that that we probably already talked about before many times, because just recently I did a seminar and you were there, I think, at the very beginning. But I got a copy of Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Oh, okay.
And I listen to everything audio anyway, but I like to have the physical book. It's nice. But that's what I'm currently flipping through right now.
What about?
And then I also, just recently, I think I talked about it right before the podcast started. Ryan Holiday and the Daily Stoic. The Daily Stoic. And what's nice is they have a Daily Dad podcast too. And so whether it's a Daily Stoic or Daily Dad, you get like 5-10 minutes of just him talking about Stoic ideas, principles. And it's just a good way to talk about parenting also. And so
I like it. So it's a lot about self-awareness too, because that's the biggest thing you can improve on anywhere. There's always something that you can do.
It's that emotional intelligence thing, right? You start with self-awareness.
Definitely. That's where I do. What skill or leadership role trait did you develop in the military that has really helped you with your career now?
I think if you really think about leadership and how it's really pushed me along, and it's perseverance. It's perseverance, and knowing that as much as it sucks, as much as, oh my God, this is the worst day, and you're I'm going to pull this out, not to show the phone, but you're just doom scrolling. Oh God, this is making me so mad. And you put the phone down, you slam it, and then you pick it back up again and go, oh look, and then you're mad again. That's one thing, right? But then the other part is just the challenge of life, the challenge of what to do, the challenge of what's going to bring new growth. It's perseverance. And the Marine Corps taught me that in a lot of different ways, because sometimes it does suck. Sometimes your leaders aren't good. Sometimes he or she made a bad decision. Sometimes I'm not doing right by my family, but you persevere.
Right.
Whether that's with your faith, whether that's with your understanding that you have a tribe, right? Or you have a bubble, but, finding what's going to help you persevere. And I think that, to me, was one of the biggest things I got from the military, is learning how to continue on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of the name of the podcast too.
Right.
It?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just in case you don't know what Charlie Mike is. Hey, what does Charlie Mike mean? Have you Googled it? Have y'all Googled it? Because I know that these guys can tell you. What's Charlie Mike mean?
Continue mission.
That's right.
Continue the mission.
right? And so,
Yep.
It means C and M.
C and M, right?
That's
We're not throwing signs up, are we?
Yeah,
I
I
just saw
know.
that.
Regardless of the situation, that's what we try to say. Is regardless of the situation, always Charlie Mike, always continue the mission. Things get better.
Yeah.
And
One day at a time.
one
And,
day.
At a time.
and before we close out, I want to make sure to give a shout out to Raul, man. I know you had your anniversary coming up, man. That's fantastic. Man.
Happy
appreciate it.
anniversary.
Appreciate it.
Mind if I ask how long?
3 years sobriety.
That's right, brother.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Hit it for me. Yeah, bro. 3 years. 3 years. That is a long time.
Yeah,
Raise-
man.
Raise a glass of water for me.
That's
I
right, man. I
appreciate
got
it.
plenty
Thank
of that
you.
too.
Thank you.
And what's great about sobriety, man, and what I love about the teachings of it is it's one day at a time, right?
One day.
So whatever you're dealing with, whether it be your transition, whether you're looking for work, it is one day at a time. Every single day, I can focus on what I can control today.
One more day, one more step.
And I'll Charlie Mike, man. That's what it's about, man. That's awesome. Any last parting shots?
Yeah. Well, before we do that,
Or Craig?
we have to. I know that's right, but we have to recognize our sponsor.
Oh yeah, Mr. Tree, Chris Ripley. We are sponsored by Pause for a Cup, which is Patriot Knife Coffee.
Oh,
.us,
that's
Patriot Knife
right
Coffee.
above, right above.
That's
you.
right. Yes, Patriot Knife. We love that guy. He is doing fantastic things. And don't forget, there is a promo code Charlie Mike. So one word, patriotknifecoffee.us, promo code Charlie Mike.
Jump on the website. Use that promo code.
I think it saves you 15%. So do it. The coffee's delicious. I recommend all of it.
Every single one of them.
And it can be gifts. It can be gifts.
It
That's
can
right.
be
Put
gifts.
it
You're
over
also-
ice. It's hot in Houston right now. Put it over some
my
ice.
goodness. Actually, Tree goes out to a lot of events and he always has iced coffee with him.
See,
sure
that's what
does.
I'm saying. You know,
He
coffee's
sure
good
does.
any time of day.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
helps you with sobriety too.
late nights when you got to
replacement.
study. For those of you that need to study.
We appreciate you, Tree.
Yes, sir.
What you got, Mr. Craig? Any last
last
notes
parting
for
things?
what you got?
I think just going back to what we've talked about before. I think just to focus on the idea of connection and perseverance. Those are two goals that I'm always looking to reach for. Making sure that I keep connections, I find connections, I help maintain connections, and I understand that perseverance is something that doesn't stop. It's a continuous piece, and you don't do it alone.
Yeah, and there's actually a great TED Talk out there by Angela Duckworth, and she writes the book Grit, and grit has a lot to do with perseverance, and is one of the biggest traits out there that will make you successful. The biggest trait that all successful people have is grit, the perseverance.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, dude, that's life changing. You're right on there, brother.
So I appreciate it. Once again, I just wanted to say thank you.
No.
I've probably been on legitimately maybe like one or two other podcasts, but nothing like this. This is different.
Yeah.
This is different. And even though I teach in like a video thing, this is a whole different experience.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit of my story.
We appreciate you coming on, and it's an honor. Like I said, you definitely have to come back, and we'll do it again. It's been fun. We're in the works of a few things.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot different next time you come.
So is it like a
Yeah.
time hack? I see it's like an hour and 2 minutes.
Oh
Is it
yeah,
usually?
yeah.
So
It's like-
that's a guideline. We try to keep it to an hour so folks know what to expect. But
Yeah.
the conversation has been great, and I've got some fantastic notes.
Sometimes we go over, sometimes we go under. It just depends on the conversation.
Yeah,
So if
definitely.
it's good talk, of course we would just want to keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see some of the comments too. Like I said, I think I saw my cousin on there. Love you, cousin. See, that was right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pull it up for you. Yo.
He's an Army veteran as well.
Oh yeah.
I'm a veteran as well.
I like him even more now.
Airborne guy.
So he knew the right way. to go.
Airborne guy. So
Oh yeah.
he wants,
he
he wants to
actually-
get all the shout outs. He wants to hear all the shout outs. See, look, all the way right there. See?
Yeah.
So
I'm
right
pulling
now
up
he's
there.
like sitting there going, yes, he's listening to me.
It's funny that somebody else wrote airborne.
See, it's all
They
starting.
know,
It's
they
all
know,
starting.
man. They know. See,
See?
they know. Airborne all the way.
Yeah.
That's the response. That's
So-
the response. Like, hey man, hey, I simplified double.
Seth, why don't you teach me that, Seth? I
Now you know.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
whenever you greet someone, especially in an airborne unit, you say
So-
"airborne, sir,"
I don't
and they
go.
always
I don't
say
go. Who?
all the way. No. No, there's not a whole lot of that.
No, no, I don't know what that. Well, that actually can mean a lot of
I know.
things.
We're breaking it down for you.
Yeah.
When we talking about legs next? Is that what we're talking about?
Fucking legs.
See, I can cue us up. Let's bring it back up here. See, look, see, look, everyone's getting excited now.
Legs, man.
Water-
Legs.
water
legs.
boys.
If you don't know, a leg is anyone who is not airborne. You got to go through the school to be airborne. You get to wear the cool little maroon beret. I remember.
Are we gonna talk about like when the berets started coming out? Is that
Oh,
what's gonna
man.
happen? See,
You were there before that.
I was there before when berets were only for certain people, but
You're
then
old school,
everybody
yeah.
has the berets now.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad we got away with that pointy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I meant with our dress uniform, we used to have that corny ass.
McDonald's thing.
Yes.
See,
Oh,
I got you. See, welcome to the Army Talk. I'll be your co-host here.
Yeah, you can be guiding us through all the Army.
Queuing up to the history of the Army. Now y'all have the very historical looking
the pinks
greens.
and greens. Yeah.
Looks very similar to the Marine
Pinks
Corps
and
Alphas.
greens.
It does it.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Just Google it. It's there. It's very close.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Belt on the outside, green all over the place.
Yeah. Polishing boots. I did polish boots.
Polish boots?
I did
Shine?
polish boots.
I did
circles,
too.
right? Little circles,
Yeah,
little circles.
I did too.
Oh,
Yeah.
what about
My dad loves a polish
what
boots
about
too.
ironing to the point where you could like cut somebody or the
Yeah.
trousers could stand up?
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the old school podcast.
This is
We
it. We
now
are bringing
talking
it back.
Yeah. I used to stay flow, man. Like I was going out
Snow
of style.
camis, snow camis, right? Snow camis. Snow
Oh
camis.
man.
That's
Yep,
fantastic.
yep. See,
Yeah.
see, I can turn it
Yeah,
back
you
to
can,
like
you can.
flashbacks here. It's okay. That's why I wanted to check on the time. I just added another couple minutes there.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. And we appreciate you guys still listening in, man. This is always fun. We've gone through all of our questions. Well, not me. I always got questions.
You got more questions?
Always got questions.
You let me know.
What?
'cause,
Okay,
I
I want to talk back
I'm
about
Filipino. Can
transitioning.
I talk about Filipino stuff?
Whatever
What
you
else?
want.
You
What
know
else?
what?
What
You know
else?
what? We know what would be great. Tell us where a great Filipino place is. to eat.
Wow, I'm really glad you asked that. Did you know about this, Raul?
No, I didn't.
Did you know that right here in the heart of the Houston area in the Heights, there's a little known restaurant. It's actually been on diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah.
You know, so this is real. This is a real thing. It's called. I don't know if it's been pulled up. I don't know but it's called B as in B. All right, Be More Pacific. It's a pun and it's true. Be More Pacific.
Oh.
Be More Pacific, not be more specific.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Be More Pacific. Why? Because Filipinos are in the Pacific. Oh, so okay. so it's a Filipino restaurant. It's the general manager looks kind of like me, except he's younger, a little bit shorter. But that's my brother.
Almost exactly like you.
Yeah.
My brother is the general manager at Be More Pacific. So shout out to him if he watches this video eventually. I'm gonna look out to say that people coming to Houston or coming to Texas, coming to the this area, go to the Heights. It's at 5th and Yale. I already have the address
Yeah, I bet
memorized.
you do.
Man.
And it's called Be More Pacific. Maybe you need a sponsor.
Yeah,
Hey,
come
yeah.
on.
You need a
You
sponsor.
know what we should do? We should go down there and do a
Be
podcast from
more.
there.
So just to be clear, they
That's
have
their-
karaoke rooms that can be used as private rooms.
Oh yeah.
So you can broadcast
That's
directly
right.
from it. There's a window in the back area to give you good lighting, so you don't have to bring too many lights.
Yeah, Craig dictated.
You know,
It's good food. man.
Awesome.
It's
Then-
good food.
Then you have to take me now.
That's
Yeah.
right. We're both.
and so again, there's karaoke rooms.
yeah.
So you can sing if you want to sing.
Wow.
Private rooms, open patio area, so you can.
We're
you
gonna
can
have
reserve.
to. We're gonna have to edit all this and send it to your brother. We have got you. It is. The food is good. I'm telling you. They're very
Who's been to Be More Pacific? Come on, I know some. They have a. I'm going to translate right because egg roll, right? So they have a lumpia eating contest coming up in the next couple weeks.
For real.
So if you want to sign up and watch a bunch of people try to stuff their mouth with as many egg rolls as possible, Filipino egg rolls, they're going to have a contest coming
Sounds
up
like
for the-
Raul's
for the 4th
kind
of July.
kind of contest.
You know, the thing about it is, if I was to stand up, I'm not that tall either. So it's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
Well, we call
You know?
tree for a reason, man.
Yeah.
He's like 11 foot tall.
Well, that's why the open patios are there. You don't have to worry about ducking.
Yeah, you can
You
stay
just gotta
outside.
stay outside, you know. But no, I appreciate it. Be More
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Pacific.
glad, man. Yeah, that place is good. It really is good.
Yeah.
I
Thank
like
you.
to eat. There's always
Yeah.
in Houston's the notorious for great
For
places.
food. I can start naming food places. It's just, you know.
I'm gonna
Oh,
check
man,
it
I
out.
love it. I love to
I
eat.
can name a tiki bar. I have no affiliation with them. You know, it's called Lalo. I like the name.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
Lalo.
I think I've seen that one.
it's kind of hidden. It's kind of
Yeah.
one of those places where it's like right next to a convenience store.
Huh.
And you go in, you're like, wow, it's like that in here. But
those are the best places.
yeah.
But before we do close out, and for those of you still listening, I do want to make sure we share the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Press 1. The one thing you can do is share this, make it a post, put it in our chat, share it, whatever you got to do. I know you guys are out there. I know you guys are struggling. I know you guys are listening. Reach out. It's the biggest thing you can do. We're all struggling. We do it one day at a time. And if you need help, reach out to the Veteran Crisis Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Press 1.
Ask for help. Ask for help.
Yes. Always know that you're not alone.
That's right.
And be sure to always, continue your mission. Charlie, Mike, we have what do we got next week, Will?
We do have a guest coming up. I'm sorry. I don't have it pulled up. I don't want to butcher her name.
Oh,
But we do have a guest on. She's a medic, and she's going to come on it and tell us a little bit about her story, and then what she's doing now that associates veterans and puts first responders on the same roof, and how they can get through their own recovery, right? PTSD.
yes.
She's dealt with her story. Woo, powerful.
Yeah. Don't miss that one. That one definitely. I mean, I hope you didn't miss this one either. But
you can come back to it, right? It's recorded. After
yeah,
this is live.
definitely.
And it's going to be the same day of the week.
Same
time.
day.
Same
Every
day,
day.
same time.
We may have a new location, but we'll see.
We're figuring some things out.
Yeah. So wrap us up, Raul. I appreciate it.
As always, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to share, like, subscribe. We have all that. And we'll see you next week. As always, thank you for being here.
Yes. Thanks.
And
Appreciate it.
remember